Hello, welcome to our webinar on a God-centered approach to stress relief. You know, we live, of course, at such a time of incredible challenges, the world situation just compounding what we all feel on a personal level, issues around our health, finances, relationships. It's all compounded by what we're seeing in the news and the everyday kind of impact of our culture. And, you know, this is an unprecedented time, I believe, in human history. It's so important that we really address our stress, anxiety, all of our challenges, whatever they may be, in the context of the existence of God, of our Creator. And I hope that this introductory webinar highlighting some of the principles that I've been sharing and teaching for many decades now will be of help to you to achieve resiliency and stress relief, to be able to feel empowered and a peace of mind in spite of everything that we're all going through. So let me share my screen with you. It'll take me just a moment. Sorry for the delay here. Okay. Okay, so there we are. And let me just show you some slides. You know, again, acknowledging that whatever we're experiencing below our mental and emotional stress lies the original design that God created us in His image as sons and daughters. This is the fundamental, I believe, the fundamental truth of human existence. We're created by a God who wanted to reflect Himself in His sons and daughters. And from that point of view, whether it's stress, anxiety, whatever it may be, it's affecting all people, including those of deep faith, people wondering, well, I do believe in God, or I believe in a higher power. Why is it that I'm experiencing such a difficult time? And, you know, in much the same way that you take a watch, for example, a very complicated instrument, but it's designed to tell time accurately. And that purpose is defined by the watchmaker who creates the watch to fulfill that purpose. In much the same way, we were created with an original design and a purpose that's given to us by our Creator. And the more we can live in harmony with that, the more, in spite of whatever we might be going through, we're going to be able to be resilient and have a degree of peace and well-being. Now, this human system is an integration of body, mind, and spirit. We can learn about these things through brain science, biology, health psychology, and even the latest research on a life after we pass on from this life. You know, as a consequence of tremendous advances in medical technology to be able to resuscitate people after they have passed on from heart attacks, from strokes, from serious injury, and then they've come back with incredible testimony and stories of what they've experienced in this afterlife and in the presence of God. This is all part of what we can say is real science that can help us to be able to achieve stress relief. We need a kind of user's manual for this mind-brain system in order to recover the original design that God intended for us and the original way of life that God intended for us. Unfortunately, our problems today, they're no different really than our parents, grandparents, even going back all throughout human history. Clearly, something happened at the beginning that created a situation where we were no longer able to feel the love and security through a personal relationship with God. I believe it came through a breach of trust in God, a breakdown in the relationship of love that we should have experienced with God, that came about as a result of believing lies rather than the truth of God's love and God's goodness. It became a kind of infection of fear, insecurity, and false beliefs, an attitude of survival of the fittest, an attitude of self-centeredness that's been passed on from our original ancestors all throughout down through human history. What we can refer to as a fallen nature, the consequence of which is a mistaken identity. We're kind of struggling within our own mind, within our own psychology of who we are. And it's so important that we can gain insight about this case of mistaken identity, that we tend to identify, we believe in our opinions to such a degree that we believe things that are totally untrue, including, first and foremost, who we think we are. And that's why Jesus taught us the need to be able to be born again, to achieve our original authenticity as a child of God. We need to be born again. What a concept, that we begin a new life through following Jesus. And that's why I believe that throughout human history, there has been what we can refer to as a providence of God. The Judeo-Christian culture, particularly, that's centered on the coming of a person, of a Messiah who could embody the nature of God. A human being that could be the example of what all of God's sons and daughters have the potential to live as, the children of God, building through our relationships with our family and extended to those in our workplace, in our neighborhoods, to extend the true relationship God intended for us based on the relationship with Him, that we could build the kingdom of God. One of the most important things I believe that Jesus revealed to us about our Creator is God's heart. This is a famous painting by Rembrandt, The Prodigal Son. His father saw him. This is a son who had been squandering the wealth, living a life of real kind of lost, who then returns to the family, returns to his father. And when his father saw him, he threw his arms around him and kissed him. And the son said, "I'm no longer worthy to be called your son." And the father said, "Let's have a feast and celebrate, for this son of mine is alive again. He was lost, and now he is found." And I believe that the Lord's Prayer is a blueprint for an empowered and successful life. That the Lord's Prayer, it's a systematic approach to how we should live. And it's a context for understanding our purpose on the deepest spiritual level. From this point of view, our stressed out feelings are a sign, a built-in mechanism for seeing that we are not living according to the original design. That this mechanism is a way of evaluating and assessing our state of mind and the quality of our own thinking. That the stressful feelings we experience tell us the degree to which we are caught up in our thinking, rather than paying attention to a distorted view of our life and our relationship with one another. We should be seeking the truth of God, backing away from trying to figure out the solution to our problems, and rather make room for the wisdom of God to come in. Stress is a self-correcting mechanism, I believe, like rumble strips on a roadway. You know, you're driving along and all of a sudden you start feeling that rumbling. And so what do? Immediately you sense that you need to take corrective action. So you change the direction of the steering wheel, get back on the roadway. In the same way, when we're feeling stress, anxiety, whatever we're feeling, we can link that feeling with the need to take corrective action and shift to feeling and sensing the goodness of God and the gratitude that we can feel toward God. Knowing the truth and setting us free. That's what Jesus taught. So I hope that this introduction will be of help to you and your family and all that you are doing in your relationships. And whatever may come in the days ahead, that we can find a way to be able to put our trust in God, trust in our Creator. He's with us, He's guiding us, He's loving us, He's seeking for our well-being. And the more we can trust that, the more we can experience God, the more we will have a way through whatever the future holds for us. So again, I hope this will be of help to you and your family. I wish you all the very best. God bless you.